I'm speaking to you from the coffee testing kitchen of the Hafner Coffee Company in Etna, and I'd like for you at this time to meet Mr. John Kaib, who is plant manager here, and you have another responsibility that we're going to talk about too, and that's something with blending coffee.
Yes, it is, Stuart.
How do you blend the coffees that you sell?
Well, this is the heart of the roasting operation here, the testing table, where all the coffees are assessed for their different qualities and then put into the blends in the proper proportions, and then the finalized blend is sent to the roasting room where it is roasted and processed and then sent back here again for a final testing before it goes out into the commercial world.
Where do these coffee beans come from?
Well, coffee is grown throughout the world around the equatorial belt, bordered by the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn.
Would you then show us the procedure? Supposing that you got a coffee in that you were going to test, how would you go about it?
Well, we have a coffee here that I'm working on prior to purchasing, and we're assessing its qualities. I have a portion of the green here in the sample roaster. It's just been roasted and is cooling, and just ready to bring out and put on the table now. This coffee is roasted a few handfuls at a time, as you can see in this sample roaster. And after the coffee is roasted, it is dumped into the cooling apparatus here, cooled back down to room temperature in about 2 minutes, and then brought to the testing table, where we will proceed now to weigh out the proper quantity for a cup of coffee.
And how much is that? What is
well, this is somewhat more than 43 beans in this particular operation here. We are making coffee by the steep method here. The grounds will be right in the bottom of the cup after we apply the water, and this is not a way that we would recommend for home brewing. I'll take these now to the grinder and grind them up. As you can see, this takes very little time.
Is the freshness of the grind important in getting a good cup of coffee?
Yes, coffee begins to still immediately upon roasting, and the stillness will accelerate after the coffee is ground. We have here the kettle of hot water, boiling rapidly, I might add, that we will pour over these grounds.
Now, how often do you do this type of testing?
This type of testing goes on all day long here at Hafner Coffee Company, and we test coffees before they are purchased, after they are purchased, and after they are roasted before we send them out to the grocery stores.
Now, what do you do?
Now, after we have these coffees poured and the water poured on them, we will proceed to smell them for flavor and aroma, and then after they have cooled sufficiently to taste, we will taste them.
Quite a steam comes.
Yes, you get a lot of steam up off of the cup, and within a few seconds this coffee is brewed and ready for smelling for the aroma and flavor.
Well, you go right ahead and let me see what you...
All right, we'll start right here and work our way through on this. As you smell through your nose and with your mouth, and through your mouth at the same time, so that you get the full aroma and flavor. And stirring at the same time so that it all comes up at you in one great big whiff. Are you getting any difference there?
Well, I can't say.
You can't say, huh? It takes a little bit of time to get onto this.
Yes, I can tell a difference.
As we change from the different coffees, there should be a difference that you can notice.
How long does it take to train a person to do this?
It takes several years to train them, although we can tell within a few weeks' time whether or not they will be able to make the grade.
Well, what have you found now?
We have ascertained that there, in this particular copies that are under review, that there is nothing violently objectionable to them, and that I have filed into my mind the smell quality, the smelling qualities, and the flavor qualities as far as aroma is concerned of these two particular pans, which we were working on for purposes of purchasing and fitting into our blends. Here, in order to show you a little how the stuff is tasted, is a segment of the test that I was working on as you come in. And these coffees here are cooled sufficiently so that we can get them into our mouth without burning ourselves. So we'll proceed to taste these.
Right.
And we have this glass can here that we will have to use to get rid of the coffees, because we don't dare swallow them or we will carry the taste of one cup to the next. So this becomes a little noisy too, and absolutely not according to Emily Post, but here goes. You'll see that as we lifted the spoon of this coffee to our lips, we didn't touch our lips with the spoon. We sucked the coffee from the spoon in a very sharp airstream so that it covered the entire palate at one time, and we got the flavor of the coffee sent directly to our brain instantaneously. And we spit it right back out so that there was no taste left in the mouth and to carry forward into the next cups.
And then, all right. So you don't have to rinse your mouth between these different coffees.
It is unnecessary to rinse your mouth after you've become accustomed to this type of work.
What have you discovered now from this tasting?
Well, if we had discovered that there was something objectionable to this coffee, we would have pushed the cup back. In other words, one tester will signal to the next tester his classifications of the coffee, whether they are objectionable or whether they are good. If he likes it, he will pull it forward. I found nothing objectionable to these coffees, so I left them as they were. They are not outstanding in the sense that it is a must that you must have them for your operation. This coffee here, where I tasted just the one cup, I found it to be satisfactory, so that we made no move whatsoever on this. But as we worked into them deeper, and we would put on 4 or 5 or 6 different cups to go very thoroughly into the quality of that particular chop of coffees. If everything come out uniform and there were no cups pushed backward, we would say that this coffee was ready and available for use in our blends.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaib.